The Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum on Wednesday warned that it will no longer allow a section of the country to play any supremacist role over others. The forum said this in a communique after an emergency meeting held in Abuja. The communique was signed by Chief E.K. Clark, Pandef leader, AVM Idon Jesit Nkanga, Chief Broderick Bozimo, Mr. Solomon Asemota SAN, Senator Basi Enshaw, Professor Gigi Dara, and Chief TKO Okorotie. Others are Chief Ayo Adebanjo for Afenifere leader, Mr. Yinka Odumakin, Senator Kofoworola Akerele Bukno, Oba Oladipo Olaitan, Senator Femi Okuromu, Chief Supo Shonibare, Chief Demola Folarin, Dr. Akin Fakbonda, Chief John Nwodo, President General Ohaneze, Chief Guy Ikoku, Dr. Chukwemeka Ezife, Mr. Chuks Moma, SAN, Mr. Mike Ahamba, SAN, Mr. Madu Bright O. Owe, Chuks Achi Okpaga, Chief Alex Ogbona, Dr. Pogu Bitros, President Middle Belt Forum, Air Commander Dan Suleiman, retired, Dr. S.D. Gani, Elder Stephen Bangoji, Honorable Jonathan Asake, Mr. Chris Abba, Mr. Mark Jacob, and Mr. Festus Inyuwo. Reacting to the meeting of northern state governors with northern emirs and chiefs and Arewa leaders in topmost position in the current regime held on Monday, the leaders retreated its call for restructuring before the 2023 general elections. The communique reads, the meeting coming aftermath of the EndSARS protest, when we should be pulling heads together nationally to seek solutions to our problems, is most destructive, divisive, and made Nigeria widely scattered as against the indivisibility and other non-sequiturs that were regurgitated at the end of it. Where would this country be heading to if we also decide to call our own meeting with our governors and top officials in the federal government? We do not see any responsibility displayed by those who have been serially accused of sectionalizing our national government to allow such a insensitivity, and total subversion of the unity of the country that only exists on the lips of those behind the meeting. It's not also lost on us that the communique of the meeting was making space for National Executive Council nominations to a sectional initiative as the utmost level of disregard to the rest of the country, whom they are treating as serfs, when we are supposed to join an equal stakeholder in Project Nigeria. The meeting wondered the quality of humanity of any group meeting at this period of mourning not to have a word of compassion for those that were recklessly murdered by state forces and higher thugs during the protest. We reject the incident approach to paint the peaceful protesters in dark colors. They made their demands clear and were orderly before the violent Nigerian state deployed armed soldiers and thugs in 911 lorries against them. It is wickedness to place our power above every other national interest by playing the regime change label on the peaceful protesters who were not armed like Boko group that the regime is chasing about with negotiations in the same spirit it has been coddling and pampering killer S-men. We do not see the thoughtfulness in the celebration of northern youth not participating in EndSARS protests as if they did not also loot like their deprived young people in other areas of the country, which shows they are suffering the same thing. But instead of treating leprosy, our counterparts are dealing with eczema. We foresaw all that is happening now, which is why we have been calling for restructuring, as a multi-ethnic country like Nigeria can only be run along federal lines. We were not oblivious of the damage the military did to this country by using fiat to create local governments with headquarters in the villages of top shots, mostly from the north. Kano State today has 44 local governments and Bayelsa has 80. When you want to recruit 10 policemen per local government, Bayelsa will have 80 and Kano 440. That affects where the materials to be drawn into SARS and others are drawn. The inequalities multiply everywhere, and that is why we insist on restructuring on the country now before we go for any national election. We make it abundantly clear to our colleagues from the core north that yesterday ended last night and never again shall this country be run the same old way. No section of the country can play any supremacist role again as if the rest of us are fools. It is either we live together as equals under the same rules of engagement, or we explore other options as dignified human beings. We deeply mourn with all families who lost their dear ones in the crisis we just went through and pray to God to comfort them. May those who wantonly destroy lives pay grievously for their deeds. These elders, they are really angry. I think that's the truth. Everybody's just trying to play to the gallery. And exactly, they've already, they've been able to, they've seen where they are trying to go to, or what they are trying to bring out. Because, of course, there's no need for us to start saying all of this in again. It is clear to everybody. And that's why the youth are saying, we don't even want all these things. When they see anybody that is bold, they don't like it. And that is why you see that we will continue to say it. Those who are hiding, you are suffering, you are smiling, you are saying you are respecting people. And we can see all of these things. And that is what these people are using against the so-called Southerners. You see the Igbo people, they say this is what we want. Majority of them, they say this is what we want. And they don't like it. Somebody who is oppressing you does not want you to have that. If you have that boldness, you are a threat to him or her. And that is exactly what is happening. Now, these are the things that people who have been agitating for one thing or the other, these are the things they are talking about. And you guys are now coming out because everybody was just trying to be politically correct. Let us do it this way. But the people from the other side, they don't see it that way. You see the way they've just orchestrated their own meeting. And they've already told them that they could see what you guys are talking about. The same thing everybody is suffering all over the country. No, they now say, oh, this is the reason why the youth from the whatever, they are not saying anything. They didn't join the answers. And meanwhile, they are the most affected. In every battle you can think of, they are the most affected. And they don't speak. And that's why they are going against Aisha Yusufu, because she's bold and she's talking. She knows all of them. She knows everything. And this same religion, that is what they have been using to subject these people. Of course, these people are just waking up to the reality. They are waking up to the reality. At the end of the day, you people want to be politically correct. You groups from this southern part of the country, you want to be politically correct, but you can see what these guys are doing to you. Now you begin to know what is happening. Well, Buhari should give you the core notes: SARS, social media censorship, water resources control bill, free movement of killer herdsmen in the guise of Ruga, because they like those obnoxious laws and policies, and leave the South and Middle Belt out of these draconian laws and policies. Obviously, we have two nations within Nigeria. The core north cannot dictate for the entire Nigeria. Let them come out from the illusion that they have conquered Nigeria. You cannot subdue what is more advanced than you. Great steps towards truly progressive nation. God bless you, and God bless you all for speaking the truth. Good morning, Ohaneze. Now you are talking. The South should sit up. Enough of being afraid of Arewa Kaba. Based on research, the greatest bane of African society is how their leaders could turn their diversity, is racial, ethnic, religious, tribal, and so on and so forth, into massive greatness. Unfortunately, until their leaders are able to do so, these climes may remain underdeveloped shithole of the world. But there is hope if only their leaders could see the dangers of capitalist system and do the needful in this regard. So guys, let us hear your opinion, because this what do they call them? Pandef, Afenifere, Ohaneze, and MIDDLEBELT. Now, they are on fire now. They are really on fire. Leave your comments below and let us know what you think about what they have just said, saying that you can't dictate to us anymore.